life that I find it somewhat difficult to be myself, at least initially when I get with them.
Right.
And then after a bit, I find it easier. I like plummet a little bit, and then I come back up after a lot. And so, from what you're saying, what I just heard you say about take a break from the beliefs, I can use that with that as well. The beliefs that I have about myself and about them, if I just keep taking a break from that, when I notice those beliefs coming up, that'll shift my experience with them when I'm physically with them.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Whenever you know that you're putting a lot of tension or charge behind a particular idea or belief about the circumstance that you're in, or about the people that you're with, if you simply relax that for a moment, you'll again connect to this more expansive sense of ease, this easeful sense of presence. And that will transform your way of being there, at least for yourself, which is most important anyway.
Even though I do have thoughts of, really, it would be nice if they changed too.
Sure, yes. Those thoughts are very nice. But really, we want them to change so that we can feel better. So instead, just feel better, and then you'll have a renewed expansiveness, a renewed distance to view things from in a wiser, more balanced, less impulsive way. You'll have more love within yourself, and therefore more acceptance of the way things are happening. But that is definitely a tricky one, especially with our loved ones. So just really check in with yourself. Whenever you want to change somebody else or just somebody else's ways, just see what is that saying about yourself. What are you believing about yourself in that moment that makes you feel so uncomfortable or fearful or afraid for them? But really it's your own fear, that you feel you need to go out of your way to change their ways. First, put yourself at ease. Be the change you want to see in the world, and then you don't even have to make the change in the world because you will be making it anyway. Every action we do is the immediate result of the state of being we are in. And the result of every action will be representative of the state of being we are in when we're performing the action. What is the place that we're coming from? Is it coming from a loving, wise, balanced, free place? Then our actions will reflect that, and the results will most likely also, if not immediately, then in time, reflect that. Everything that you touch turns into the color of your own inner experience. Everything you do transforms into the frequency or state of being or attitude from which you are doing it. So check in with yourself first if you want to change the world. And the world can be your partner or your father or your mother or whatever. Your friends, your neighbors, your circumstances, your dogs, your cats. Just take that moment, take that break, take that pause in between those thoughts and see what remains when you're not creating more thought. And allow that space of love, that space of inclusivity, because it never judges anything. It simply is. It never has a solid, fixed idea about something in advance. It simply is. It's flexible. It's like water. It changes according to the flow. That's why it's always effective, because it's never solid. Solid things clash into each other. Solid ideas clash into other solid ideas. And that's what you would call war, what we would call war. Either inner war, inner conflict, in our families or relationships, or on a global scale, or country to country. All conflict is the result of not being relaxed within your own self, not taking yourself lightly. The moment you take your own ideas too seriously, too solidly, too rigidly, then there's this tension, and there's this forceful energy behind it, and there's this war-like energy behind it, and your actions will be representative of that frequency, of that energy. So again, check in with yourself before you go out to change the world. And see that when you change your energy, 9 out of 10 times the need to change the world disappears and makes room for effective transformation. Not just butting heads against a wall, but actually flowing around it. Options become part of your field of awareness that previously were not available to you simply because you were too blindfolded. Beliefs have the effect of blindfolding, creating tunnel realities. And so you're not actually the wisest you could be in that moment. But if you relax from those ideas, if you just relax from yourself, from the tension of believing that you know something, and accept the fact that you don't know anything for a moment. You don't know why your hand is moving. You don't know how you could even exist here. You don't know why people are going through the things they're going through. That innocence, again, to reconnect to that basic innocence, that basic space of consciousness, it's all the same. It's all that here and now awareness. And it's not caught up in the future and the past. Just this here and now presence. That's where the love is. That's where the answers are. That's where the answers are that are spontaneous and flexible and changeable and dynamic and adjustable to the circumstances. So you can become a perfect fit for every circumstance instead of a rigid, forceful energy. So Gandhi's quote can be taken quite literally. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be it first before you go out and act it out. Because if you're acting it out from a place of not accepting anything and being angry with the world, then your actions are going to reflect that anger, and the results are going to reflect more war. If you're anti-war, guess what you're creating? More of that which you're fighting against. Instead, turn to the things that you're truly passionate about, with a love and a sense of all-inclusivity and a sense of acceptance of all other things that are not of your preference. For a moment, just a moment, connect to that. And from that equilibrium, from that equanimity of being, from there, see what new kind of thoughts come to you. Because often inspiration comes to you from that place, from that spaciousness. Conditioned thoughts come to you in the focused place, in the tense place. But in the spacious, aware, open place, the relaxed state of being, that's where you have access to. That's where the elastic band around your wrist or around your waist, which we call the solar plexus tension, that gut-twisting feeling of tension, that elastic band will relax as we relax our belief. And suddenly we have access to all this energy that wasn't previously accessible. All the inspiration that's in harmony with the wisdom that can make beneficial changes from a much more relaxed, easeful, and beneficial space. So same goes for those smaller scale circumstances, which aren't necessarily smaller scale, we just call them smaller scale. But any moment that this practice is applied is significant, is hugely significant, because it changes your entire view of life, of yourself. It deepens your understanding of yourself. It deepens your embodiment of your authenticity. Every moment that this is applied, that you relax from your own beliefs, you just relax for a moment. Every moment you do that, you become more of your authentic self, and more gets done with less doing. Isn't that beautiful? It really, really works like that, but you have to test it out for yourself. More gets done with less doing, the more you relax away from your ideas for a moment. Call that magic, if you will. Call it manifestation, if you will. Why does more get done? Because in the focused, collapsed state of believing rigidly in your ideas, you're not seeing things clearly. You're looking through a particular lens. So you're not actually seeing the quickest way to your truly desired result. You think you know, but because you think you know, you limit yourself to all that intuition, inspiration, vision, and clarity that's otherwise available in the expansive consciousness, in the space of awareness, in the relaxed, open state of this basic, natural state of being. When you open up to that, you open up to all possibilities that were not visible to you because of the blinders of belief. Belief is blinding your qualities, it's blinding your effectiveness, it's blinding your wisdom, your clarity, and everything else. And it's keeping you from that sense of overwhelming love and peace that is available within each and every one of us. Because it's what we're made out of. It's the very substance of existence. The very basic energy which is one in every place is this love. All religions speak about it in different ways. It's that one existence out of which everything springs. And so we're always inseparable from that one love, that one existence. And we can therefore always step into it within ourselves. By being, we effectuate much more than by doing. Doing needs to be a naturally flowing result of being. It shouldn't be there without the sense of being. If there's a doing without a sense of being, it's doing based on ideas. And ideas are stale, they're based in the past, they don't have any power right now, they've lost their significance. But the wisdom, the vividness, the aliveness of here and now consciousness is able to react instantaneously. It's able to know without knowing. It's able to see without believing. Again, try it out. There is no limit to the expanse of your consciousness. The more you relax, the more you'll access this empowerment, this freedom, this peace, this love, this liberation. It's all already here. We're only missing it. So stop missing it and start noticing it. That's all. How do we miss it? By believing in our thoughts. How do we notice it? By relaxing our beliefs for a moment. It's that simple. Because that which remains when all thought ceases for a moment is that benevolent love, that benevolent presence, that consciousness, that Buddha mind, that Christ consciousness, that being, existence, God, enlightenment, whatever you want to call the one existence. It's here as all of us. We are the extensions of the one source. It is through us that it creates, and through many other ways, but through us too. Every act we do never leaves existence. Therefore it is part of existence, therefore it is part of that consciousness, part of that life itself, part of that freedom, part of that unity. Everything we do inevitably is part of it.